And
poor Wally, he's not going to be able to like rummage through it and find a copy of Sonic and be able to play it.
He won't be able to play it. And I know at that point, logic says there will be bigger concerns on our hands as a society if we're that point. We're not going to be like, oh, do I have my favorite video games that I always played as a kid? You know, it's going to be like day-to-day survival. You're just covered in filth and you're just in the sewers just collecting bread, you know? Oh, all right. Well, everybody, we're back for another offline episode of our podcast. Today, our guest is going to be Javi, or otherwise known as Play Retro, or Javi Play Retro. We'll have to ask him when he gets here. But he's running a little behind today, and so Rob and I are just going to get started and chit-chat a bit, and then when Javi's available, he'll join us, and we'll interview him and learn all about him. Javi's channel is really cool, though. You know, he's almost at 14K subscribers. He started about a year and a half ago, and he's cooking over there. You know, he's just really getting in the weeds of some of these budget handhelds. I noticed today he was showing me he has the new RP Flip 2 he wants to talk about. So good times, man. Rob?
Yeah. I think everybody's starting to get their Flip 2s in the mail, and I've been seeing pictures all over Discord and just on the internet in general. Just, yeah, it's kind of funny to hear everyone's impressions about it. Yep.
You got the two?
The two, yeah.
The two?
I think probably the two more popular colors, I'd say. I don't know for sure, but yeah.
I got mine just before we started recording here. I got the Flip 2, my SNES retail, and my Retro Pocket retail, as well as okay, I got like 3 more lanyards, and I already had 4.
Can you send me one? Because I don't have any for some reason.
I have an excess of lanyards, dude. Look at this.
I'm like, I didn't want to sweat it too much. It's not a big deal, but I'm like, I don't have any.
Yeah. What color do you want?
I don't know. What do you got there? What do you got?
All colors. You pick.
Ooh. Oh, I like that black one. I think that would look cool with my... I'll go with the black one because that would match, I think, this
that would match the blue. Yeah. Okay. I have 2 of those ones. So I have 3 of those ones, actually. So I think I have like 7 lanyards. I have 2 flips, so... They just keeps sending lanyards, which is good, you know. And also
get those lanyards in before the tariffs get you.
Right, get those lanyards in. I have the pocket case. I'm gonna try that with the screen protector, and then
nice, yeah. I love this little guy. Well, not so little, but you know, I love this thing. This thing's a lot of fun. I'm waiting for my 6-button one, and it's in the mail still. Oh, we went the slow way around.
Mine too. Oh, I totally realized I didn't zoom in today. Enhance. Now I'll be at the same head height as you.
Head same zoom in this.
You can just barely see now the 3D print that you made for me.
Oh yeah.
Above my head. Oh, look at this.
I love that picture. That's great.
So everybody, Rob made this for me. Look at that. What is this?
It's so good. That came out so perfect. I don't even understand it. HueForge is amazing. Good stuff.
I got this, and it just makes me so happy. Like let's look like my warrior pose. Like it is like my 4th of July Stubbs. Like I don't know what is this, but
patriotic Stubbs.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put that back above my lamp there.
That's great.
So, what have you been up to this week? I know we haven't met since we haven't been on camera together since Monday.
I was grinding out since our podcast on Monday to get my Red Magic video out for Wednesday, since they had their big reveal on the 23rd.
Oh, I saw that. That was awesome.
Happened. I did 2 videos, like full in-depth review videos, back to back in 5 days. So I'm just like, So now I'm just enjoying some games. Yeah. I've been playing with the classic a lot. Flip 2. I downloaded Oblivion, but didn't actually play it yet. You know,
I started Oblivion.
Yeah. How is it? I haven't even seen what the upgraded graphics look like yet.
Oh, it's beautiful. Patrick Stewart, like his narration is better than ever. Very cinematic intro. I'm not very far in the game. I'm like maybe an hour in, but the character creation, like all of it is so much just more fluid. Like I like it better than Skyrim. so far.
I always so I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I've always preferred Oblivion over Skyrim.
Well,
personally,
Skyrim is this like dark and gloomy gothic world.
Yep.
Whereas Oblivion is much more colorful. It's more of like the traditional fantasy setting. And yeah, me too. But I didn't spend a ton of time with Oblivion because as soon as I started to get into it, Skyrim was out, and then I was on to that.
See, I was there for Oblivion for launch, and I loaded up on the 360, and I was like, this is amazing. This is just amazing. The intro with Patrick Stewart voicing it and everything, I was just like, wow, this is incredible. Yeah, I put a lot of hours into that game.
I feel like it was overlooked a little bit because of just how big Skyrim was. At least that's what it seemed like to me. Whereas Morrowind got proper love because that was one that I played as well. I
played on OG Xbox, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think I played that on PC originally, but that was one I think I beat because I got to the point where you could be a werewolf or a vampire. I got that expansion, and I was this werewolf, and I was running around like just eating villagers and slashing everyone up. And then, you know, someone would see, if someone saw me change back, like the rest of the game knew that I was a werewolf forever. In every town I visited, we're like, I
remember when you had the choice, and it was like it was a permanent decision. You had to make that choice of whether or not you were going to do that. So. Yeah, like that was a big deal back in the day, having those kind of like decision making that that you had to do. And yeah, it's interesting looking back. I'm like, I played Morrowind on the original Xbox. I was very much a console guy, not as much on PC, even though I still messed around with PCs. But when it came to gaming, it was like consoles. I loved consoles, but now it's just all PC for me, which yeah, consoles are not the same as they used to be, honestly. The exclusivities are not there. You don't have like that same kind of like brand loyalty where like, PlayStation has these exclusives and Xbox has these exclusives. And nowadays, almost everything's on PC. So it's kind of like,
I'm struggling with this because, I have so many digital games on Steam. You know this. We joined our libraries together. Which is funny because...
For better or worse.
For better or worse, because my wedding vows with my wife actually was that we would join our Steam libraries together. So, like,
That's how she knew you were a good pick, because you came in with a lot of games.
I came in with a lot. Like, she really benefited from my Steam library. She came in with, like, a couple hundred. Here I am, at the time, like 2,000 or so. Now I'm at, like, 3,000. Just ridiculous. Why am I doing this? And then you, me, Mikhailov, what was it? Andrew. Dan. Is that
and Zoo.
And Zoo.
Right? Yeah.
We did the family sharing. So now we've actually combined our Steam libraries. And we had my wife on there for a while, but she wasn't making use of it. So it's like, in the end, I think I've married my bros.
I was going to say, did you just pick bros before?
Well, it's a practical thing, right? It's a very pragmatic.
Well, one could say that's the same thing about marriage too, right?
Well, so my bros had big Steam libraries. Like, I love that my bros have big Steam libraries, and so now we have this Power Rangers, like, combination, like the Megazord of Steam libraries, where we've constructed this monster. We will never play all these games.
If we're the Power Rangers, which color Rangers are we?
Oh man. Okay. Can I pick Green Ranger? Can I just do Green Ranger? I have him right here. Here.
Green Ranger's the coolest.
He's cool. I don't want to take dibs. I don't want to take dibs. It's just that, I got the figure, so.
Who would be the pink and yellow Ranger, though? That's the question.
Oh, Zoo would be pink. Ban would be yellow. Blue, I feel like Blue would be maybe Andrew. No, Mikhailov. I think Blue would be Mikhailov. I think that's his favorite Ranger too. I might have gotten that very wrong, but
yeah, I was going to say, do we know for sure?
And I think that Andrew
Mike does love the Power Rangers stuff. I mean, I know that much. Like, he gets excited for the games and all that stuff, which are really good too.
And for people who don't know, Mikhailov and Mike are the same person. It's just he's going back and forth on what name to use, his gamer name or his actual name. And also, I think Andrew would probably be the Black Ranger.
I see that. Yeah,
I could see.
I believe that. I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we've combined our Megazord Steam library. It's got to be over 9,000 games, something like that, 5,000 at least. and we're never going to play them all. But here's where my predicament comes in, man, is that I have all these games, right? Yeah. Explain to me, why am I collecting physical carts still, you know?
Heck yeah, man.
You wanted to get out your mod retro chromatics? You get your little carts out?
Yeah, look at this. Oh, how cool. Look at the colors.
Patchy, Matchy, and Tetris. Yeah.
I got some other ones down there too, but I mean, you know, these are my rotation of games.
We've been talking about this lately, and I think I've collected all the games that I want to collect, basically ones that are titles that are meaningful to me. But this weekend, I started going a little bit over that to where I'm like, oh, these would be cool to have. And that's where you enter this like hoarding mentality where I'm like, okay, it's time to cut this off at the knees. Like, it's time to stop this collecting thing, because I have ROMs of all of these games, and now I can show the actual games on camera, which is cool. But, you know, I have this giant ROM library, everything I would ever want to play. Plus we have thousands and thousands of Steam games for all the other games that we might not have as traditional ROMs. Why is there a need to have these physical games in our environment? What does it bring us? It brings us what joy to see, just to see the box art, to see the instruction manuals, to see all that. And I think that's where
I think it's just the joy of that, like the dopamine hit of hunting down some of your favorites, the nostalgia hit. I mean, there's probably a lot of elements at play here when it comes to just collecting those physical aspects. I mean, you pick up a game copy and it kind of takes you back to that time. You know, you kind of get those memories that come back, and I don't know. I think it's different for everybody, but I think a lot of it definitely is tied to like nostalgia and just like those hits of dopamine that you get from it.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like being a kid again, where you open that new game. You get a new game once every few months.
New game smell and look at the back of the box. Yeah,
it just that feeling is so good, you know. So really, it's like, okay, why am I collecting? Am I and I already have this game, you know, digitally. Is it about having the game on the shelf, or is it about playing the game in its truly original state to where I don't need emulation? I want to be able to pull out any one of my favorite games like Burnout Revenge, hook it up to my actual PS2, feel that whole feeling. There's no latency, you know, it's all the original to a CRT. Just to have
this is like a very big kind of argument, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, there are some people who are purists and believe in playing the games only on original hardware, the way it was meant to look, the upscaling and all the prettiness that we can do to it, versus people who are like, no, there's no way. I'll only play it through emulation and get those clean looking graphics and all the better things that come from it.
And I was in that camp for so long, for years and years and years. Where I got rid of all my physical stuff. And now here I am. I'm not switching camps. It's just that I'm now in a hybrid situation here, where I love being able to play the original experience the way it was intended by the brand. However, it takes nothing away from emulation or FPGA experience. And I got a Mister recently, by the way, too. Yeah, I know. Well, there was a cheapo
I actually
one on
had a
AliExpress.
Mister. I used to have a Mister. Yeah, and then I sold it off because they were going for stupid amounts of money, and I'm like, I don't use this thing, so hey, it feeds the hobby, kind of thing, you know.
It was so cheap on AliExpress right before the tariff cut off, and I'm like, you know what?
Oh yeah, see, that's the thing too. They're clones now of it, so it's even cheaper. Yeah, no,
yeah, I forgot the name, but it's the cheapest clone. It's not the Taki one. It's I can't remember right now, but it's the cheapest one. People probably know what this. It's on AliExpress. It's like 170 for the whole kit.
That's crazy.
It's 100 for just the.
If
the
you
main
did
part.
it with the actual chip, you know, the FFG board, it's like probably $400 thing to put together.
Yeah, and this is the entire thing. Everything would ever need
crazy.
for it,
Wow.
including it comes with all the games and it's pre-set up. The OS is pre-set up. You just plug it in and play. That's it.
Wow.
170. It's ridiculous. And so, getting back to like the point about this is that, man, all right, so I turned 40 on this last Wednesday, and
happy birthday, by the way, just
thanks,
for our
man.
audience out there, you know.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it on our podcast this week, but I'm like, I don't know, I'm a little more low key about my birthday a lot of the time.
I am too, very much so. Yeah,
you know, where it's like you kind of want to have the special birthday feeling when you were a kid. We're like, oh my god, it's so and so's birthday. You know,
it's not,
you know,
like
but
that
it's not going to be like that anymore. Like 40, like you don't put on a freaking, you know, hat and get your like streamers out and be like, yay, it's my birthday. It's much more like I took the day off work. I went and messed around and did whatever I wanted to do that day. I went and hunted retro games. Okay.
Nice.
And here's where I made my mistake. I went past my nostalgia favorite games into just straight up hoarding of buying. It's a good deal, right? Like you go into GameStop, buy 2, get 1 free on all the retro stuff, all the used stuff. And so I picked up a ton of PS3 games because they're all like $2, $3, $4 a piece, man.
That's
like
crazy.
Final Fantasy 13 for $4. I got Saga Frontier for PS1 for $14.
Wow.
In the complete inbox with the instruction manual. The disc is mint. And I'm like,
is that the GameStop Retro?
The GameStop Retro. And
yours sounds like it's really well stocked. Because I've seen like videos of people going in and like they're showing like what their GameStop Retro has. And it's like, this reminds me of like GameStop from like 10 years ago where you had like no box art, no instructions. It was just a disc in one of those cheesy GameStop cases. And it was like, okay, but yeah, yours sounds like it's really well stocked.
It's one of the beta testing stores for the whole idea here in Portland. Okay. It's their main store in Portland. And
I think being in Portland helps too. You being there definitely helps, being in one of the major cities, especially for like retro gaming stuff. I mean, just huge community there.
I think it's their main intake store for the best stuff in this region anyways. And so like I wander in there, I just randomly casually see Saga Frontier when he opened the drawer because I was getting something else, and he opened the drawer to show like all the boxes that he had. And the manager, by the way, was super nice. I'm going to make a video about my experience, but I'm like, is that Saga Frontier complete in box? He's like, oh yeah. You want it? Like it's buy 2, get 1 free. I'm like, I was just at the other retro store in Portland. That game sells by itself for like $80. So yes, I will.
Crazy.
I will purchase it.
That's also part of the thrill, finding those good deals. Like I was telling you before we went live, like, I mean, I used to have a big physical collection. I used to be big into this. And one of my favorite things to do was when we had those generation transitions into like the new console. Yeah, that was the time to hit up your GameStops because they just wanted to offload all those older stuff. And I would like hunt different GameStops and find like these rare games, and just it was a great way to get cool games for really cheap. And yeah, there's a thrill to it too, I think, Such a thrill. And again, I'm not going to be too hard on myself because it was my birthday. And so I took the day off. I was retro hunting. I got myself like a guitar amp, and I just jammed and we were all freaking out about Switch 2 pre-orders while you're out there.
Oh yeah, you guys were all like, oh, Switch 2 pre-orders. And then I don't want to can I humble brag this one though? Can I say that I did not intend to get a Switch 2 pre-order. I was like, I don't want to be part of the rush. It's just, I'm just going to go. I was just in to find retro games, and I went into like a hole in the wall GameStop in my area, the different one. And I was like casually, like when I was at the register, I'm like, you guys have any Switch 2? I'm just curious. I know you're all sold out. Everyone was like, there were other GameStops. There were lines out the door across the block.
That's crazy.
Wow. I tried to go in there to get retro stuff, and they're like, don't even bother to come in our store for the next 6 hours. That's how long it's going to take us to process all of these transactions. And so I just casually asked this hole in the wall store. Nobody was in there. And they're like, oh yeah, you're one of the first people to, bug us about this. Yeah. We have Switch 2 pre-orders. I'm like, excuse me? Like, well, we're not a big store. We don't get we don't have the Mario Kart bundles, but we have just Switch 2s you can pre-order on its own. And I'm like, yeah. How much is that? And like $50 down, and we'll call you in June, and you just pay the rest and pick it up.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? So I have a Switch 2 pre-order now because of that. And I should have reached out to you guys really and been like, hey, anyone else needs Switch 2 pre-orders? But I think they might have a limit on.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure, yeah.
But they said they only had a couple that were even allocated to that store. Anyways.
I was trying to get a second one just in case, because I figured, hey, I could offer it to one of you guys, because I know Zoo is looking for one. He couldn't. I don't think he could get one. So
I wonder if my wife would want to go. Well, they're probably, that was a few days ago. They're probably definitely sold out now. But yeah, it was nuts. And again, and they're like, do you want to separately pre-order the Mario game? Mario Kart. I'm like, no, it's like $90. No, I don't even want to buy games for it. It's just, I'm going to hold on to it. I don't want to buy the welcome experience, and I will get other games when they go on sale, or find a good deal from Wario 64, and get games later on. I really want to hold on to it till it gets hacked, and we can do some emulation on it.
I'm really curious to see how long it will take the community to do that. Because when it comes to Nintendo consoles, for whatever reason, they just go all in terms of trying to hack the hardware, you know.
And that's exciting, you know, and that's really the reason why I'm backing it and seeing what can we do as a community. The first gen Switch, you know, that was really the one people always hunt for now when they want that full custom firmware.
It's kind of cool to hack it because there's a lot you can do beyond just obviously what's there in terms of the experience. I mean, you know, loading up Android, for example, on the Switch, it's just kind of neat to see. You could do like GameCube emulation, not well, but you can do it. You know, like all the other stuff that you can load up. I mean, it's just kind of fun to see what you can do with these devices to take them beyond, you know?
Yeah, I know it's ridiculous. And so, you know, so here we are, we're doing the Switch 2 stuff, and that'll be fine. I'm like, why did I even buy that? Like, it was literally, I think, just because they had it, you know, and the same reason why I got these deals, because they had it, not because it's something I need, not even necessarily something that I want truly. And I'm having this soul searching moment where it's like, why
I've been through this roller coaster before.
You've been through it.
I've been through it. Yeah.
Doing this. I picked up I have like 5 stacks of PS3 and PS2 games that I picked up for super cheap.
Nice.
Just because they were a good deal. And like, this is so cool. However, most of these games, many of them, mean absolutely nothing to me. I think I'm going to return all of them, or I don't know. I guess I could eBay, right? You could become what do you call
you gotta be careful with eBay nowadays because you know now you gotta like report all your earnings beyond a certain amount on eBay. They will send you a 1099 automatically. So
I just need to make no more than $600. That's the goal. If I could do that, that would be great. I also came into just some free PS3s. Thank you to some community members there who,
which is really cool.
Yeah, Digital Jedi, I did a trade with him and he sent me one. And then Cappy, whenever Owls just sent me one for shipping costs because they had these PS3s sitting around. So I have 2 different models of PS3s. I'm really excited to play those. And I have all these games now to play.
However, you should hack it. You should mod it. It's pretty.
I should mod one of them and then leave one untouched so I can still do my PSN trophies and all that.
Oh, it's so sophisticated now. I'm pretty sure you can go online with them.
Really?
Yeah, you have to read into it. I haven't done it in a couple of years. I have one in my closet that, you know, I now basically use as a prop for my videos. But
I love it.
Yeah.
I've never hacked a PS3. I've never even.
It's pretty easy nowadays. It used to be a little more involved, but now it's pretty simple. Yeah.
I'm gonna try that. I've never hacked that or a Switch or a PS2 even. I know there's a memory card glitch in the PS2, which by the way, it's great because here's what happened with my other systems, like these older systems, N64, whatnot. Those I stopped collecting for because I got the main carts that I wanted, and then I got the flash cart. So then I'm like, great. I don't need to get anything else. I have the entire library if I want, just on this flash card. So I want to do the same for PS2, PS1, PS3, it sounds like, because PS3 emulation is a pain in the ass. Pain in the ass for me.
I don't know why you guys have so much trouble with it. It's
because you gotta, okay, the ISOs are huge. All right, you gotta like install them on the virtual disk. So you've now 2 copies of the game, which are already huge. You're talking 4 terabytes, 10 terabytes, 16 terabyte drives. You're going to need to have a big library. Like you have a 16 terabyte drive with 100,000 games, which is incredible. Like you let me plug in at CES and you let me copy a bunch of the games, and I am so stoked and thankful for that. I got a lot of my PS3 games from you, and that was really cool. But so it brings me all back to my main point of this entire story is why did I buy all these PS3 games? I also own them all already digitally because I bought them on the PS Store. I got them through PS Plus or what have you. So again, it comes back to it because it looks cool to have a bunch of carts sitting on a shelf, you know, all black label, all looking great.
I was a snob back then too.
Yeah, you're like, I'm a collector.
PS2 greatest hits with the ugly red spine, PlayStation 3, like nope. The green PlayStation 1 greatest hits. I know, right? I'm like, no. What is this? It's like that GIF, like brother ill. No.
Yeah. I remember at the game store when I see they have some of the green labels interspersed.
No way.
I cringe physically. Like I'm in of that
black label all the way. Yeah.
Where we are the purists. We're the black label. We're the black label boys, and we just stay on top of like the clean look when you're looking through your library, right?
Nothing like having that one game that's green stand out in your whole shelf. And
that drives me crazy. You have like that one copy of
like, why Sony? Why'd you do this to us?
It was so ridiculous and green, but it also speaks to, the nostalgia factor too. Like, I don't hate green labels now. It's kind of like it had a time and a place. And like, oh, remember when Sony did this and ruined all the Final Fantasy boxes?
And forever? I get it. It was meant to be like a budget line. So they wanted to really make it obvious that it was a budget line. But Plus, nowadays it separates the two copies out, right? So one is probably more valuable than the other at this point.
Yeah, because Square Enix released a lot of their PS1 games again, but they're all green label. Like, you can buy them new on Square's website, but they're all green label. Chrono Cross and Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do they still have new copies on their website?
As of now, I mean, this was a couple years ago, but maybe.
Wow, because I was gonna say I remember them doing that a couple years ago, and this is like well into like probably almost PS4's lifespan, and I'm like, it's cool that they were doing that. I just think that's neat to be able to have access to those games. And I wish more companies would just go back and just do like a limited reprint of some of these games. It'd be kind of cool to just have access to that. Let more people have the joy of picking up a game in a jewel case and ripping open the seal and all that. It's just kind of neat. And I feel like a lot of people today are appreciating some of those physical aspects more so. I mean, you see like it with music, people are going back and collecting records and things like that. So I think we're going to see more of that with video games as well.
Yeah, and I think it's this like scarcity thing or this FOMO thing where it's the tariffs and the world instability and all the craziness. There's something so warm and endearing about going into a game store or even going on eBay, and getting that physical game. You get it in. This is a time when, at least to me, things are good. It reminds me of stability. It reminds me of consistency and just a kind of a golden era of gaming to me, However, the reality and the madness of it is like, I don't need these things. I could spend my money better on other things, and so I am going to whittle down the library because I just went crazy on it. And so I have way too many games that are just, I don't need, I can't even fit them on the shelf. They were just a good deal. And
that was the big thing for me, was just because I moved into my final house for now, at least, and I realized like moving a physical collection over and over again was just like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. So I kind of just went all digital essentially.
Well, and I was a nomad too. We just moved from place to place. You were always renting. I was always renting. And it was just a pain. So I did for many years, probably 10, 15 years perhaps. And now I'm settled, I believe, into this house for the long haul. And so now I'm like, okay, I can settle in. I can set up my space. I can kind of do things
that's what's
how
happening
I want.
Now to me too.
And that's what's happening to me where I'm, but the problem is, dude, is where does collecting end and hoarding start? That's the thing. And I'm dipping this week. Again, I'm gonna give myself a pass. It was like my midlife crisis birthday thing, but I tipped over that scale and I could feel it. I'm like, I'm just getting stuff because they're good deals, not because I will ever use them, want them, or even want to see them around. So I think that's where the businessman aspect comes in. Like, can we now resell these? Are we becoming an investor in the collections? And I don't have the time to do that.
There's the mentality. Just because something's on sale or because it's a good deal doesn't mean you need to buy it. And actually, the way you save money is just not buying it at all. Basically,
exactly.
So, that is the best deal.
The same thing with handhelds.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm terrible with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. I got this analog pocket. I got this gold one because I love the look.
Oh yeah, me. This should look familiar to you.
Yeah, and you bought that one for me because I gave you a good deal on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
However, this was a great deal. It was on Amazon used. It was well under market value. And the part of me was like, oh, for one, I want that. I want to try it out and mess with it again. Analog has done a lot of updates. But for two, I know that will sell for more if I ever did want to sell it. But if I sell to Owls in our Discord, I will always sell for less than it's worth. So I need to if I were to go through my plan, I would have to go on, again, eBay or something wait, and you got to pay
the problem is with
fees,
eBay. Yeah, that's the problem with eBay. Yeah, I mean,
you got to have everything perfect. They could return it on you. There could be claims. It's a
eBay could be a crapshoot.
And I'm so used to the comfort again of our Discord community, of our toy barn for our owls, where we all give each other great deals. Things
Toy
sell
barn
pretty
is
quick.
Great. I've sold to so many people, and I've bought from so many people, and I have always had a great experience. Really, you know,
it's always been an awesome experience. And the only trade-off is that you're not going to be probably ever making any sort of profit unless you get something for free or something like that. But you know,
but the thing is, that's nice about it.
Okay, with
Well, think about it.
There's no trouble. There's no drama.
eBay fees are like what, 20% when you count in all the other stuff that's there, and I mean, so it's like, you know, you actually do okay at the end of the day. It's not like you know, undervalue for what's out there on the market on Toy Barn is still going to be, you know, a good deal for both parties. I think it
always is.
Yeah, so I think it's fair regardless. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's this whole thing. So yeah, good. I don't know where I was going with all that in the end, but I mean, it's never gonna end, that talk between physical and digital and ownership. Do you actually own your games? That's a whole nother topic we can go into. Like that's a whole different thing we can go in. It was that podcast episode we talked about with, God, who was it? Was it Damn It Jeff? I think we originally talked this topic.
I think it was Damn It Jeff. Yeah, I think it was Jeff.
That's what originally spurred it. Was you don't own your games. Remember that every game you buy on Steam, this ties it off of the bow. All your games you buy on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo,
you own nothing.
You own none of it. Yes. They're digital licenses.
And you'll be happy.
You'll be happy. And all these stores eventually will shut down at a moment's notice. As soon
we
as
just don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen. I mean,
we don't know what's going to happen. And so if you want to have the security of being able to always play your favorite games, get, at least for your favorites, get the copies physically. And that's where I started this journey at. And I have multiple videos I've already filmed covering this exact topic. And I go through the adventure of going into the game stores, getting my favorite things, and kind of like a travel log video about that.
Well, it's funny because I'm like, with the Switch 2 stuff, it's kind of reignited my whole argument about physical and why physical is great versus digital and what's not so great about it. I'm like, those Switch 2 game key cards are the perfect example of this crap.
Yes.
I actually commented on a post by Sega on X, which is like, this is like, take me back to my old days. I'm like, I'm not buying any of your games because all your games are coming on game key cards. So, you know.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. So you're going to get a box, right? So you get the box art, probably no manual. Or if they do, it's going to be some like one pager that's
how to use this game key card.
How to redeem your game. Why waste the manufacturing to make an empty box with the game card? Why? Because you bought that, you own that box.
This is the next step beyond the code, basically.
Yeah, you own that box. Great. You do not own the game.
You own nothing. There's nothing on the actual card. There's nothing on the card. It's ridiculous to me. I'm like, what?
It's a blank thing, and it's greedy, and it's just like, you know, take the time. If you're going to produce the thing, take the time to load the damn game on so that somebody can go in and play the game offline. We're talking like, okay.
Well, I'm sure they're going to have ways where, like, you know, it checks in and then you can play it offline. But I mean, again, it's still not the same as real ownership, where if you, let's say you didn't have an internet connection. I mean, I don't know. Let's say you're a kid. Let's say you're 10 years old and you're not online with your device. Those game key cards are worthless basically to some 10-year-old that doesn't maybe have internet access. You know, I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. And we're in a future where civilization is crumbling. Like the Wally world has come to life. We're not going to have, and
poor Wally, like, he's not going to be able to like rummage through it and find a copy of Sonic and be able to play it.
He won't be able to play it. And I know at that point, logic says there will be bigger concerns on our hands as a society if we're that point. We're not going to be like, oh, do I have my favorite video games that I always played as a kid? You know, it's going to be like day-to-day survival. You're just covered in filth and you're just in the sewers, just collecting bread, you know? And we're
gonna be sitting in our chairs, moving around.
Yeah, you just move.
Massively overweight.
Yeah, you know, and And so there are bigger concerns, and maybe that's not the primary concern that we need to be talking about.
But it does get very heated. I know there are truly very passionate people, and it's like, the game key card thing is just silly to me. I mean, so again, silly. It's like I just don't understand it. See, like there's Fast Racing, the futuristic racing series, the developers behind it, they're coming out with an actual launch game for the Switch 2, and it looks amazing. But see, these are guys that understand what the purpose of digital media is. They're selling their game for $15 on launch, and it's a brand new game, new experience.
Physical
I'm
copy?
Okay with that. No, they have no physical copy.
Okay,
they're a small studio, but $15 for digital, I'm okay with that. They understand that there's no manufacturing cost behind having the cartridge and the box art and all that. I get it. $15 is an unbelievable deal. Like, see, that's where I'm okay with paying for a digital copy of something, you know. Whereas if the only option is a game key card and you're charging me $70 for it, why am I going to pay $70 for something that I don't really technically own? That's the problem with it.
You're paying
that matters too.
You're paying an extended rental fee, basically. That's why I say, like, don't buy things at full retail cost. Check out Wario 64. You know what? Check out our own deals website. So we launched yesterday. We launched a new website called handheld.deals. Yeah, that's it. Though it's just the whole URL, handheld.deals. This is an evolution of our Dills weekly article. Andrew's running this, and he has a Twitter account to follow.
For a long time.
It's being built into the Wario 64 of our niche, basically. All of your lowest handheld deals will be tracked on there worldwide, not just the US. And also it's tracking games, like cheap game copies for Switch 2, all that. Mm-hmm. Also, micro SD cards, controllers, everything related to our hobby. Andrew has been cooking on this for well over, I think, a year now, maybe more.
I remember him working on this when we were at CES. So, I mean, that was already a few months ago. So I know he's been cooking this for a while now.
Yeah, it's just this community resource, and it's super cool. And so, check that out, handheld.deals, if you want to stay up to date. I think
that's going to be even more useful nowadays, given the whole situation, the landscape tariffs of how everything is going on now. I've already seen some crazy prices on AliExpress. A 1X Fly that went from like $1,200 to like $2,500.
It's out of control, and so. Check it out. It's going to be a new separate thing from us, basically. And I'm excited that we have that. But, man, those game key cards really are tough. And it's only third-party developers, because Nintendo at least is doing for first-party games actual cards. Those are the ones that'll get, but not at full retail price. Again, look for deals.
It sucks, though, because I want to support third parties on Switch. I want to show third parties like, hey, we want to buy games, not just Nintendo games on a Switch. You know what I mean? And right now, the only one I know of is Cyberpunk, which they had a tweet about it and said, we have the full game on a 64 gigabyte cart, full game with the expansion. And I'm like, I'm buying that. Even though I've played Cyberpunk before, I'm going to buy that because I want to support them. I want to show them, like, this is what we want. We want more of this. Stop being cheap with the game cards. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, man, it's just a killer, and I think it's driving up the value of original Switch games more. I'm seeing the values and the selling prices going up and up and up. And so if you're collecting, Switch games, because those are games that are entirely on the card and they play on Switch 2, I think that market is going to go from already expensive to stratospheric. So if you can find good
especially
deals,
with the backwards compatibility on Switch 2, I think that...
And it's not all games across the board. Some games won't play, but those games that don't play are going to continue to probably go down in value. And the games that are backward compatible are going to go up in value. Although I could be wrong, because Xbox did the same thing, and their old 360 and Xbox games did not go up in value. In fact, you can buy those at bargain bin like PS3.
Xbox is a whole separate thing we could talk about what not to do, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Xbox just lost their way. Badly.
You think so? But you can take an original Xbox game, you can put it in your Series X,
it's amazing,
and it'll upscale to 4K, and I think that is so cool. But as a console, it's sort of made itself beyond that experience
irrelevant.
A little irrelevant, because you can play all the games now on Game Pass, and you can play it on PC.
I mean, Forza Horizon is going to be on PlayStation 5. I think if you bought the limited edition or whatever, it launched already, but it's coming out next week on PlayStation 5. Did you ever do you think you'd hear those words? You know,
no, a Forza, a first party title being on PlayStation is crazy. I mean, Microsoft made a big deal about Minecraft. They owned Minecraft, and they would not let Minecraft be on any other platforms. They would refused crossplay on PlayStation, on computer, on all these other platforms. And finally, when it got leaked, some person like hacked it or something. Or no. The developer studio for Fortnite leaked a cross-playable version of the game as a mistake, just to prove that they could do it. And then at that point, Microsoft had like, oh, okay, I guess crossplay is a thing now. And this is like mid 2010s. And so that was a new concept. And they did in the end give us Minecraft cross-platform, crossplay. And
it's funny because they've done some very pro-consumer moves on the Xbox side, and so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, like doing all those moves today in terms of a console and exclusiveness and whatnot, there's almost no need or point to buy an Xbox at this rate, So they kind of shot themselves in the foot in some aspects, but their business model is being a service, basically. That's what they're trying to move towards,
Yeah, that is what they're moving towards. Kind of like Sega. I mean, Sega in the end got out of the console game, switched to.
And they make probably more money now than they ever did in consoles. So
I think there's less overhead and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And so seeing Forza come on PlayStation 5, that's crazy. And same thing there. It's just a whole new world, and all the more precious why these retro games are special, because it was a different time. There's no DLC, there's no first day patches, there's all the nonsense that comes with getting a modern game. Sure, there's Game Pass, you can cloud play, and you don't need to install a 120 gigabyte file to play Morrowind, play Oblivion. And
I mean, Game Pass is a great value. I mean, again,
it is
day and date. You can either go on Steam and buy Oblivion. Oblivion for $60 or whatever, or it's right there on Game Pass. You have it available to you to play. So Game Pass is awesome. The service is awesome. It's just that I guess there's a part of me that's nostalgic, and I miss the days of the console wars, and like Xbox had this and PlayStation had this and Nintendo had this, and it was fun to kind of fight for your side kind of thing. And then you always had the one person who's me who was like, I have them all. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I know, and I'm that guy now too. It's like, great, I have all the consoles. My kids have their pick of the litter, what they want to play, and it's probably too much. Like, and I don't know if Javi's joining us because we're running pretty long here, but if he's not, then we'll figure something out for the future. But maybe he slept in today. But anyways,
I almost did. I set an alarm to make sure I woke up for this thing.
Well, we did our Easter egg hunt for the kids a week late here, so. This morning, I was up, we're doing Easter eggs out in the front yard, and I ran to this podcast, and I was 5 minutes late, and I felt bad. And then luckily you were too, and then Javi's, isn't here, so I'm like, oh, well, at least I don't feel as bad. And we're recording here on a Saturday, by the way, everybody, Saturday morning. And so we're doing Easter late, and anyways, hey, look at this, man. I got my...
Yep.
Digital Jedi.
I gotta change my date on mine, but
so we have these date
print this one out finally after some time. I needed to do this one,
right? And those looking or those listening to the episode, we have these custom calendars with our names on them for RH, like Game of the Month, or for like marketplace sales, and it's like in this form of a Game Boy, and it's awesome. Digital Jedi made an awesome thing here. What does it say on the back?
There you go. Now I got the right date.
3D.
So we timestamped our recording.
Here it is without the things in it. I dropped everything. Yeah, we can timestamp our recording. It's on 4/26/2025. A day that will live on.
But it's cool because I saw people using it in on the Toy Barn and Marketplace, just for Game of the Month stuff. And I've been trying to get better about Game of the Month stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm going to print one of these out.
Hey, what are you playing this month? So you beat Pikmin already.
I beat all 3 Game of the Months, and I even did 2 Game of the Weeks, I think. Yeah.
You did? Yazuda-fied it.
I sued it. Yeah.
This week. Yeah. I am still working my way through Star Fox on SNES. That's the one I'm trying to focus on, and I will barely make it.
Just knock that one out. Yeah. Use it out. Yeah. 1 hour max, honestly. Yeah.
Really? Okay. I'm still dying on the first level. I beat the game plenty as a kid, and I'm trying to find.
Oh, it's so hard.
I know. Well, I'm trying to find the best. I'm trying to find the best handheld to play it on to make it a little easier.
I played it on my INEO DMG. I was very much in a DMG feel, you know, so I was playing a lot on there.
I've been playing on my Retroid Pocket Classic, and for me, it feels a little bit cramped feeling. It doesn't feel quite right, and so I've been playing it. You know what I've been playing it on is my O30S, which I know you hate this thing.
I hate that thing so much.
You hate this thing, but I hate
that thing.
I bought a second one. I love it so much because my son took my first one because he uses it a ton, and so I got the orange one.
Oh, I like that color. It's a very
it's like
light.
A peach. It's like a peach orange, and honestly, besides the very clicky L2 R2,
I hate those shoulder buttons.
I really like it. I think it's comfortable. It's very much the size of the RG35XX H. Am I right? Is that right? 35XX the one looks like this. Which I should probably pick that up because this is basically a clone of that.
Clone of it, yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm not even sure what processor. I think a 3326 is in here. But anyways, it boots up and it just plays everything and it's all ready to go. And to me, it's a good experience. But Linux often, I know this is an urban myth, but Linux just feels a little snappier in general. Android just always a little clunky to boot up, and then you're clicking around, and then the games themselves, sometimes you got to mess with controls. And some people even say there's like a latency overhead on
Android. So old that everything's has latency at this point.
Yeah, my
I don't think it matters.
So if you really want to avoid that, you just got to play in the original experience on a CRT, right? That's if you really truly want.
Yeah, sure. I'm just fooling myself into thinking I actually got some skills left over now.
I know, me too.
I played some of the, like Mario Brothers 3. I was playing through it. I'm like, holy crap! How am I this bad at this game? I don't remember being this terrible at this game.
That's how I feel about Star Fox this month.
Star Fox is you got to use save states. I couldn't do it any other way. Yeah.
I think I'm going to start doing that. Yeah, because everybody, if you haven't watched our show before, Game of the Month is something our Discord and now all of our subreddits participate in. We posted awesome. Our Game of the Month, to our Retroid Pocket Anbernic subreddits, and we got a lot of people, engaging in this cool book club of games where we talk about it and share the love of the game and talk stories, and it's so cool. And it's something I rarely get to really participate in because I'm so damn busy sort of running the various things so that people can enjoy the community, enjoy what we're doing. And I got to remind myself to stop, pause, enjoy it myself. And get involved with everybody. And it's fun when I do, hopping into the voice chat.
I really enjoy it too. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I'm like, this month we're getting ready to do voting for Game of the Month, and I'm like,
that's right. It's time.
We can't have these games win. I'm starting to get riled up about it. I'm like, Zoo, why are you letting this happen?
So that's what happens when you get involved in Game of the Month. You get really invested on getting your game to win or certain games to win. And
they're trying to get a Zelda sweep, and I'm like, we can't do 3 Zelda games. Yeah, in 1 month.
I love it. I love it. There's all these strategic political camps of Game of the Month, this whole society of Game of the Month.
Oh yeah.
And they are in the back channels wheeling and dealing. Okay, how can we make all the Zelda games?
You get me 5 votes. I'll give you this.
And they're trading votes. Hey, can I get some votes? I'll vote for this if you can give me this game. And it's I love it. I love the idea. I love the culture of it, and it's just.
Plus, you can earn stuff too. You earn points to get cool swag.
Yeah. So you can. So you beat the games, and again, I think the end goal is to just feel like you've beat some games. But you show your screenshot. You get a point per game. Game of the week, I think, is half a point per game.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then you exchange those points over time for various RH swag and merchandise, and eventually the coveted bag of the computer.
Which I guess is the most expensive reward, right? That's why it's
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we do get this higher quality bag, and it's costly for us to do that. And people pay for shipping of it, but they don't pay for the bag. So it is sort of the bigger that Game of the Month grows, the more expensive for us it becomes. But I think it's just this trade-off of having that engagement and knowing that we have one of the coolest spots to really enjoy this stuff. And this big collective of people who are now focused on enjoying these old games versus spending their energy and time, doing other stuff that maybe it's contributing to what's going on in the world. And so this is like having your energy focused on something like this. I feel like brings the world some level of positivity, even though there's fighting and all that. It's still,
well, I mean, I think part of it also is like, remember, we all love all these different handheld devices, but we also forget what they're designed to do, which is to play games.
So games.
This gives us that opportunity. My favorite thing to do is to go into the completion screenshot section and just look at everyone's screenshots and what they uploaded and like what handheld device they used. It's fun to just see all that. I love seeing what people are playing and what they're using it on, and things like that. It's kind of cool.
That's my favorite. I'm gonna go in there right now and see what games did we get on the roster.
Man.
Okay, I haven't voted yet. So let me see. Looks like pre-96. Oh, we have a bunch. What's the winning right now?
So every category has a Zelda game in it.
Oh, I see. It's been strategically done by the community. So the community votes on these.
They're trying to get that. Well, I know some are advocating for a Zelda sweep, and I'm like, oh, that's brutal.
But yet, Streets of Rage 2 is ahead in the pre-1996
because there's definitely some camps, like especially like me, like, okay, Streets of Rage 2 is awesome. It's a great game from the Genesis days, but you can actually get through it. And so it's nice having a balance of experiences of like some that are shorter and longer. This way everyone can participate.
Yeah, and the other game that's matching it is going to be F-Zero on SNES. So do I vote?
I saw that. I personally voted for F-Zero as well. I mean, but you can vote for more than one game as well. So
you can. And then at the last minute, a lot of people will take away their votes and just, leave the
gotcha.
It's this whole game that it's like this mini game inside of the games you play. And what do I pick? I never played through F-Zero. It's from 1990, takes 2 hours to beat. Streets of Rage takes 1 hour to beat. I've also never played that.
I'm kind of blown away for the 2002 and later category that looks like Patapon is winning right now by a good amount. Which,
wait a minute. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, which is kind of awesome.
Way ahead of those two. What am I talking about?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that. I didn't vote for it because I've actually finished that game sort of recently. But it is a great game. I wouldn't be upset if it won. You know what I mean? I would be upset if we had a Zelda sweep, though. I don't want to do 3 Zelda games.
No. Patapon is not in the pre-96 category.
No, it's 2002 and later.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to there in a second because I'm
you're pre-96.
I'm still talking pre-96, man. I am even more wrong. I thought that those were the two highest. I missed one. You know what's winning in pre-96 right now? Be like 47 votes beyond all the others. Unfortunately, it is Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, which is a great game.
Mm-hmm. I didn't vote for it. Sorry.
The Zelda sweep. The Zelda sweep appears to be in full swing here. We still have a few days to stop this.
Yep.
But I mean, it's a great game, and you could play it on Switch. You could play the remake, and that should count. But I'm gonna do. I don't know what game do I like the best out of all these. There's also like Echo the Dolphin. There's Final Fantasy 3. Oh, that's a good one. Booker Man.
I feel like we should also.
Earthbound is on here. How did Earthbound not sweep?
I mean, it's doing okay. It's got a good number of votes.
I'd like to play through Earthbound again. It's been forever.
I'm glad that Streets of Rage is doing that well, though.
Wait, Tetris is on here. How do you even beat Tetris? Can you beat?
That's what I was wondering. I was like, wait, what's the end game in Tetris? Is there an end game? I guess there is. There's you reach a certain amount of levels.
I'm gonna go Streets of Rage 2. would like to play through that. I'm gonna go Streets of Rage 2 for.
So Streets of Rage 2 was one of the ones I voted for, and I voted for the game next to it, which was Mr. Gimmick. And I feel like not a lot of people know about Mr. Gimmick, and I think that's a fun one to just go through. And it was very impressive for Nintendo, original Nintendo, just the way the game looked and played. But I feel like it's a good way to also highlight games that maybe are overlooked. Instead, everyone knows about Link's Awakening. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's why. Okay, fine. Out of the Zelda sweep, I'd be okay with Link's Awakening.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Nobody loses.
No, I mean these are usually the games that get voted in are pretty solid. Yeah.
I mean, okay. So in 96 to 2001, though, Rob, we have The two winners right now are Sonic Adventure 2 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
I'm all in for Tony Hawk. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I've never
It's such a chill game. I've
never played the third one before, and I just happened to pick it up yesterday. So let's do Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
Nice.
And 2000.
I just watched it go up right now live.
You did? Oh, perfect. Yep. So it's winning at 46 votes. And we've now moved the goals and the years because retro is moving as we're aging.
Yeah. There might have to be like a separate category for the 2000s at this point, you know?
At
like,
this point,
it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
So we have a 2002 plus category here. So the last category. And you said Patapon is the winning.
It looks like it's the one that's winning right now. Yeah.
Which number is, or which letter is that?
Q. So it's
Q?
in part two. Yeah. There's a lot of, like, the 2002 plus category is a tough one because the theme is musical May. But there's so many cool musical oriented games that came out after 2002. And it's kind of like just you're looking at the list of games like, holy crap.
Because that was a big focus after 2002. We saw a lot on the DS and other platforms.
Yes.
Speed Agents is an option on here.
Awesome game. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to go Patapon's awesome for PSP.
I didn't vote for it either. Yeah.
It's a fantastic game. I think it's one I actually do have physically too, but what do we want to do here? What's the next
I had a hard
closest?
time. I put in a couple of votes and I'm sure I'll retract some of them at some point, but
so we also have Legend of Zelda is very close. Wind Waker. I've never actually beat that, so it could be cool. But let's not.
So I remember beating Wind Waker. First time I beat it was when it launched on GameCube, and
Burnout Legends.
This is the
come on.
young days of me.
Come on, dude. Burnout Legends. Burnout has the best soundtrack. The series.
Heck yeah, it actually is doing very well.
Soundtrack.
I think it's doing well. Where the heck is it?
It's
third
Wind Waker.
Heck yeah, I put my vote in for Burnout Legends actually. So
yep, me too. All right, let's do it.
Burnout Legends has a fantastic soundtrack. Talk about like a timestamp, right? Like you go back and I'm just being transported back to like my early college days, and I love it. This is such a good nostalgia feeling for me.
And it was one of the games that I benchmarked or was playing like 5x upscale, 8x upscale on my RG557 on my Anbernic, which is, I'm going to say it, probably the most comfortable release of this year because the 556 was so comfortable. However, let's talk about this because 557 launch for us US consumers is dead in the water. Anbernic had promised stock would be at the US warehouses. We could buy it on launch day. However, that turned out to be not a thing. And I was up all night, like prepping the launch stuff and getting like bands video out and last minute stuff about the 557. Dead in the water. The rest of the world can buy it.
I remember you got so excited you linked the 556 by accident.
I did it because I found the 556 for really cheap. Like, oh my God, the 557 is launching under what we thought it would. But no, I was completely just zonked out of my mind and that was a dumb.
I was like, whoa, wait, what? They're dropping it in a black color as well. I was like, oh heck yeah, let's go.
I know, I thought so too, but no, it's just me being very tired. And this was on Switch 2 launch day. You all were up late doing Switch 2 stuff. I was up late doing 557 stuff. And so the 557 in the end just had a very cold, lukewarm launch. Even for consumers in other countries who could buy it, it was a very, very lukewarm launch. In the end, Zoo really felt like it's just a complete swing and a miss. Dan as well really didn't recommend it. I remember taking it out of the box, and the first thing I did, I looked at the sticks and I was like, Zoo is going to be so upset with this. He's just, So I'm in the camp of it's very comfortable if you're not affected by PWM, pulse width modulation for your eyeballs. I think the OLED screen looks beautiful. I think we could tune it better. Maybe Gamma could get some fixes in, but the sticks, at least there's no cardinal snapping. It's very comfortable to use.
It's very accurate, but it's just comical in some ways too at the same time. Yeah.
And the sticks, you can't swap them out. And so while I got used to them and I like the handheld, is it worth their now asking price of $250 if we could get it in the US? No. And if we wanted to buy it in the US, our price now is over $300 plus shipping at $350 for us to buy it on Amazon. It's going to be about $400 as far as I can tell. So that's ridiculous. It doesn't matter though, because currently, even if we did pay $350, there's no options to ship into our country. So we have to be friends with a Canadian or another country and have somebody forward on to us. And it's just not worth it.
I imagine places like, what is it, Droid X or whatever.
Droids.
They're Droids.
You probably
they're going to start to see more business. Bet, you know.
And I would say wait for someplace like that or another reseller like Go Game Geek, because Go Game Geek has lots of U.S. warehouses. And as long as it's the right price and we get like our RHH15 discount code, that might be the way to go if you want the 5F7. But it's kind of a lukewarm. It came out at the wrong time. Anbernic waited too long, and what they did release is rushed at the same time. It's
just really unfortunate. The wrong time. Already the pricing wasn't great to begin with, but then also on top of it, the wrong time in terms, at least if you're in the US with the tariffs issue. And so it's just all of it kind of culminated in this kind of very lackluster launch for this product, you know.
At least it has the Dimensity 8300, so the performance is crazy. And
which
plus,
actually makes me upset, though, because I'm like, the problem is we're now swimming in Snapdragon handhelds, right? Yeah. And you wonder, like, they ended up with Dimensity, and I'm like, the Dimensity really is showing the issues with the driver support. I mean, it's just, it's brutal. It's pretty brutal.
It is, but at least, you know, we have that script, the community script that came out yesterday that will boost us 10 to 12%. Like max out the clock speeds, and that will get a little more performance. But it doesn't matter how much performance you get because the compatibility is just not there like it is on Snapdragon.
No.
However, it's still like the raw power of it is impressive. And I was seeing for my testing really good results, and for Android gaming really good results, even compatibility aside.
Well, like just so like as a frame of reference, this guy is half the price.
Pocket
Classic. Yep. This guy is half the price.
Yep.
Has a Snapdragon chipset that's doesn't really have the driver support, but I've had better luck in terms of compatibility running things on here than I have on the 557.
Me too. Prince of Persia Lost Crown runs full speed.
Which is crazy, right? I mean, it's like but that's what I'm saying. I mean, this is not even a well-supported Snapdragon because this is the only device that has this specific chipset, which is what is it? The G2, G1 Gen 2.
G1 Gen 2, but
it has an Adreno A15, which there's no like you can't load turnip drivers or anything like that for. But out of the box compatibility and performance is better on this in many cases over the 557.
Over the 557, which is crazy because we benchmarked them against each other, and the classic like score is way lower on benchmarks. Like
it's like way comical. Lower. It's comical. I think like what was it? Like single score is like 1,000 or something.
1,000 on best case scenario, usually a little under 1,000.
Yeah,
and it was just benching horribly, but yet the experience and the actual experience is better than the 557.
That's why I always say it. Synthetic numbers only paint one story, you know. That's the thing, one picture, and it's like raw power doesn't mean much if you can't run anything with it, you know.
But it's always a compromise because the 557 I think is a good handheld if it were to exist in a bubble, coming out when it's coming out, coming in at the price it's coming at, and the stupid decision of the sticks really, and the PWM really hurts it because it could have been good with just a couple little changes, and if they got it out a little faster to where we could buy it, and maybe in time it'll be good. You know, maybe it won't suck as Zoo is saying.
Honestly, this thing should have launched a few months ago when the Retroid Pocket 5 dropped.
Yes,
because
we could have had a great, because the Retroid
alternative
Pocket 5
to the Retroid
released,
Pocket 5.
Yeah, RP5 released in its own bubble. There were no competitors at the time, really, at that price, and so it just cleaned.
And realistically, I mean, if you're looking for best bang for the buck, it's still. It's hard to beat the Retroid Pocket 5. I mean, really, you know, I mean, I know some people don't like the ergos. That's completely a fair point, you know, but you can also add a grip to it and things like that. But bang for the buck, the Snapdragon 865 overperforms. It actually overachieves. So it's an amazing chip, you know.
And you get Linux, which is great. But I'm still the biggest fan out of all the three of the Retroid launches this year. I'm still the biggest fan of the Flip 2, which I know is a unique camp I'm in. A lot of people will say, no, it's a very subjective thing, but I just like having the clamshell, even though you lose a little bit of ergonomics, especially using those shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
But do you want to, I don't know if we're going to get Hobby today. I think it's just gonna be you and me, buddy.
Yeah.
But should we do an unboxing real quick?
I know you got, I don't know which color was it that you didn't unbox?
God. So I only had the GameCube one, and I got the,
love this. I love this touch. I can't get over this. The matching of the shell, the color. I love that. I think that's so cool.
I got the SNES US.
Yeah, the ice blue is a slick color. I really just love this. With the black inside, I love that. It looks so good. Like before we got on, I was like kind of quickly cleaning up a little bit because I'm like, my desk was just, I can tell when I've just finished doing a video because my desk will be just covered with crap because I'm just pulling things out and trying to compare things and just test things and film things. It's like, it just looks awful.
I can't even talk about this yet. This is under complete embargo. I can't even say what handheld that is.
Oh, speaking of, I actually got this guy in the mail. Just a classic micro.
Oh, good. You got the classic.
Yeah, I had my AliExpress credit to burn up, and then with coupons, I was like, okay, well, you know what? This is actually cheaper than what they're selling it for directly. So I was like, all right, let me just go for it. One last thing before the tariffs come in.
Look at this SP. Look at this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Kind of cool, huh?
It reminds me of the green is almost like Nickelodeon green-ish kind of, and then with the purple, it kind of is just giving me that Nickelodeon vibe.
Yeah, man.
Slap a Nickelodeon sticker on it.
I know. Yeah. I wish I had time to play all these things. That's the thing. It's like I have them, but I don't.
Hey, at least they're fun. They're fun to look at. Or like if you're like Marge Simpson, you just think they're neat. You know, you just look at them.
They're neat. Exactly, and that's where I'm at. Where it's like, man, I wish I had time to play on these more, but at least we have them.
So I'm doing something with Game of the Month where like I'm actually not. I mean, it's a way to force myself to play games and actually finish them, but also I'm trying for each game to use a different handheld. This way, I'm using these devices in a different way. You're using them.
That's what it's all. That's what it's all about. Let's see. I got to get myself centered. We only have a portrait mode here. Let's pull this handheld out though.
Yes, I'm excited to see this color.
Flip 2.
I love the 2. It always looks like Z from a distance.
Yeah, flip Z.
The flips.
Okay. Flip Z.
The flips.
Need my knife.
Pull it out of your Jinko jeans.
I got some Jinko jeans. I got some rollerblades for my birthday. I was actually out So I've been practicing rollerblading for a week now, preparing. Or I guess
are you going to film an entire review while on rollerblades?
So I'm going to be filming my Asus Flow, the giant 13-inch tablet thing. I want to prove. Someone asked, but could this be pocketable? And I'm like, I got some Jinko jeans that barely fits in the pockets, and I got my rollerblades for my birthday. So I'm pretty bad at rollerblading. I haven't done it in 30 years, but I'm practicing so I can film. Yeah, with that that classic kind of.
Oh yeah, you notice how Retroid's been throwing those quality assurance things in there now?
Oh yeah, it's quality assured, inspected. There you go. So I'm excited for this. I love the Flip, and out of all my testing the hinge and taking over 5,000 revolutions on the GameCube one, and I drop tested it. I was banging it around. It still is in great condition. Like it still is still
unlike the Miyu Flip, which 10 times opening and closing it, and it snaps it.
Yeah, I have a flip print here. It still hasn't snapped, but I've been babying that one. This one, not so much. So here is the SNES US, and that looks clean. We still got to get a little sticker to put on here for the time.
I've seen people already throw some cool stickers. There was someone in our Discord who did Pac-Man, which is kind of cool. I saw one that was a PlayStation one. The PlayStation logo was really cool. I've been seeing a lot of cool stickers going on these things.
I love the look of this, though. This is the one that I wanted to buy. The GameCube one is fun. It's very colorful, right? But this is
It's funny because I like the GameCube coloring, but
I do.
It doesn't do anything for me on this device specifically. I don't know why. It doesn't. Yeah. Just I will end up keeping the Ice Blue that I purchased just because that's the one I really wanted, and I feel like it's just fun. But the GameCube one doesn't do much for me. I don't know.
Yeah, and I gotta set this up still and I'm gonna probably set this one up instead now, but this is how I do it on Android, man. I do my emulator folder, games, launchers, media,
I do the same thing.
Tools, just to clean it up a bit. And
I have the same thing. Yeah.
At some point, I'm going to set up my front ends. Console launcher is one I really recommend, as well as emulation station desktop. I got to add Beacon, Daigisho, Reset. I mean, there's the Retroid one is coming into its own as well, but the Retroid one I actually love on the Classic. I really like using that front end on the Classic. So here is that
Classic, man. I'm just having so much fun with it.
You love that Classic.
Yeah,
I like the Flip 2 a little bit more, but that's just me.
I like it for different reasons. That's the thing. It's just very different reasons why I like them.
And I do want to talk about this one soon.
That one looks actually pretty cool.
this episode should be out by the time I can talk about it. But yeah, this is what is this? The Aeneo
Ace. The Ace.
Yep. This was a whole saga. So I stayed up right before my birthday. I stayed up like all night, like working on my first look for it. And then there's a whole fiasco, which I don't even know if I want to get into right now, but yeah, they had some really restrictive, I knew a very restrictive reviewer guidelines. That was basically like send them the video beforehand and they can check it first, which we just don't do. That's just ethically not something that we do unless it's like a sponsor. You know, that point it's an advertisement. But for a review, you don't send it to the brand beforehand. They came out and said the next day, wait, oops, that was a little oopsie. Never mind, because reviewers, we revolted and said,
I remember when you shared that. I was like, I would have noped out the first sentence. I'm like, nope,
I was like,
nope.
So I filmed my first look.
I remember you're just gonna upload it, say, F them basically.
Yeah, and then I saw their guidelines, and I was gonna add in a thing about that in the video. I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna upload. Like they don't get that. That's ridiculous. But then they said oopsies, and then I was gonna release it, but then then they sent an email. They were like, hey, it was a mistake, but now we've embargoed all videos until the launch of the IGG campaign, which is crazy. So I can't even like share my opinions on this yet, apparently. But at the same time, they can blacklist us. And I did talk about it in our Discord community in the channel. So if people want to see a little bit about it, I can't post about it, but it is in private on our Discord to look at. Yeah. That's interesting, right? That's God. And I did a teaser video.
I definitely am very much against any company that wants to review my footage. I'm like, that's not going to happen. Yeah,
because it gives them the chance to shape a narrative. Because they could request like, oh well, actually, we don't love that you said this. Could you take this out or change? It's like, nope.
Yeah, you take the good with the bad. I'm sorry. It's just that's how it is.
Companies need to not be sensitive about feedback. They really of them appreciate negative reviews, positive reviews, whatever, because it's all feedback that they get to then go and make the product better. So Aeneo, I know they're a little sensitive because of what happened with Rust.
But they had to take it as a learning experience. I mean, again, we both have worked with much bigger brands than what Aeneo is, and it's like they don't have these kind of requirements either. They just send it off and you upload and that's it. It is what it is. They say thank you and move on.
Oh, okay. So I love this retro one.
Oh, yeah. So you have this
same one as you. Yeah. So here's
the DMG one. So I actually have the Aeneo Pocket DMG, the same colorway.
The same one.
This is so hilarious to have them side by side. It's like, hey, little brother.
I like this. I know, right? I like this better though than the Aeneo one in the end for me. Although you do get the stick on the DMG. You do get the stick.
Something about that stupid DMG is charming. I don't know what it. I love that thing. Also, I don't know what it is.
Well, it's the same OLED screen.
Yeah, it is.
It's more powerful with the Snapdragon G3X Gen 2. Yeah, way more powerful. But I mean, this one just
this one makes much more sense though. I mean, from a practical value, just a point like that. Yeah, this makes a lot more sense. This is like the everyman's kind of device, and that's why I like it so much. Whereas the DMG feels like you got to be like dealing with crypto and gold and whatnot, and you're like an investor trying to afford one of those.
I don't like. So usually they release pretty nice cases, and this is a very sort of lackluster, basic case. I mean, it's fine, right? But
does it not have like the ridge in the back to hold it in? I can't tell.
No, it doesn't.
Okay,
well,
so just
hold on. Is this meant for the Flip? I got two cases here. This might be for the Flip 2. It fits the Flip 2.
Okay.
Barely.
That's possible. Yep.
I got a second case here. What is this one for? Okay. So
because usually they'll have like a ridge in the back or so. At least that's what Anbernic does, which I like.
So it's form fitted. Exactly. And there's no form fitting here.
Man, they really gave you lots of
There's more lanyards. So
it's impressive.
You know what they did here? I see what they did. They made the exact same case.
Keep production down.
Wait a minute.
It's easier.
No. I'm wrong. This is form fitted for the Flip 2. This one's the form fitted for the Flip 2. It's very subtle. But yeah, it does have. Was it supposed to be this way?
I was it looks. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say the other way. The triggers were being pushed in.
Yeah, and this one doesn't have that. So this is meant for the Classic, but it's not form fitted for the Classic. Yeah, there's no.
I feel like you could probably go on
It's
Amazon
fine.
and find some generic case that might even be a better fit.
This is, they kind of don't love the cases here. Really,
Yeah.
they're fine. They're fine. But I mean, I would go with like a Waterfield design case if you want something fancy, or Tom Talk, or just generic options as well. If this is going to be generic, but so I'm going to be playing on that. I like the Pocket. The battery life is outstanding on it. I put it in standby for days and days now, and it's ready to play when I want to play it. Same thing with the Flip 2. It's always ready to play. Retroid cooked this round, and they did, I think, a good job on it. Anbernic, I think, totally flubbed. While there's things to like, and the Ronald McDonald case is pretty funny. There's
you can see it's like prominently in the background here. You could see it.
I can see it. Yeah, there, everybody. It's right there in Rob's thing. And I really, I think that this is. They don't need to be nervous about this. They don't need to be nervous about the launch. I think. Well, you'll hear more from me about it, but they don't. I think they could have avoided that. Unfortunately, now they're going to get a little bit of spiel and rant in my video instead of what would have been.
I think they add
like
drama to themselves.
They added drama for no reason,
unintentionally.
Yeah, and it was ridiculous and dumb. So I'm so tired, dude. I'm so tired of some of the tactics, behaviors from some of these brands. It's almost just it's very predictable. Every round, we're like, okay, we know that the Retroid's going to have community drama surrounding it because they're on this pedestal.
I don't understand that either. Like, that's crazy to me.
And we know sort of what's going to happen. We know Anbernic is going to make one stupid thing that ruins the whole experience. Otherwise, for casual buyers, like, it might be fine. We know with Powkitty, in general, it's just kind of a lower B tier, but we all accept that. And we kind of root for them to do better. You know, like the V10, like just a great little handheld for the price. And we know that with Miu, there's going to be quality control issues, and the quality isn't going to be there. And so, like, we can just, these, and then unfortunately the hinges snapping on the Flip, and I have to be so careful with this because I don't want to break this little toy, because I don't have the $200 to buy a new one now with the tariff price increases, and we're seeing, like you were saying, on AliExpress.
The price is getting crazy now.
If you're not buying from a U.S. warehouse, which you always, if you're in the U.S., you should always buy a local from their shops. But if you don't, shipping is like $100, or they add in just like something that says fee, $100.
A lot of them are doing that now too. Yes,
cost. It is absolute insanity, dude. I saw a Trim UI brick, which Trim UI almost unanimously releases great products time and again without too much drama, and coming in at a great price of what was $60. Now it's $60 plus a $100 fee. $160 for the brick. Now, these are the prices you probably see on Amazon anyways, or maybe on eBay. But it's, for us, getting used to that is crazy. And so we really are at a point where maybe hoarding isn't such a problem as it once was, because now what you're hoarding is you're actually holding value, and you have these treasures that, you
have them in the country. So if you're American, you're in the US, you're like, hey, I got pre-tariff goods.
I got pre-tariff goods. You can list them. You could sell them, but I'm going to be very, very selective over what I let go of, because it's not like it was before, where I would buy something and they're like, I don't know, sell it, buy something.
Oh, hey, you need it maybe for like a video, a comparison. You buy it back or something like that. It's very different now.
And then I buy it back, and now it's very different. I don't know how easily or cheaply I will be able to get and source the same handheld if I need it again for a video, or if I need it just like, what was the button feel on that one handheld?
Exactly. Yeah. And I've done that too, like where maybe I don't have it anymore, and I'm like, okay, let me get it back and just kind of remind myself of what the device felt like or what it looks like in comparison and things like that. But we'll have to be a little more mindful of those things now too, because we won't be able to just go on AliExpress and just quickly get one, or even on Amazon, which I'm sure now also we'll start to see price increases.
Hobby just messaged me. He said, hey man, I'm sorry I missed it. Like, no, hop on. I wonder if he got maybe a little in his head or something. He hasn't been on the show before. I don't know, but he's an awesome guy. He's a little. We
should have him on the live show too. This way, he just
maybe a little nervous.
Part of the group, and just kind of gets into it a little bit.
I told him, this is kind of like, hey, this is us like sort of onboarding you into the the YouTube retro friendships.
Yeah, I think I think our community would love to hear from him too. Oh man, I'm just seeing all these crazy prices for stuff. Wow, what the heck?
Well, at least you and I get to record a show, Rob, on a Saturday here. It's nice to
impromptu show, but hey,
impromptu show.
We've had good talk here.
Yeah,
good stuff.
It's been a solid chit chat here.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what else. Javi wanted to cover ROM libraries and curating, and I was excited to talk about that. And I'll talk about that real quick if we don't get him here. But for me, I don't have as much time these days. But let me tell you, back in the day, the first couple of years of RH, I had more free time to spend on my ROM library. I would curate. So I actually downloaded, every single game ever for every system. And then I spent 2 years in the trenches. I used to talk about this with Thor, but 2 years in the trenches of playing a little bit of every single game. I skipped like the Mahjong titles. I skipped some stuff that I knew that we could skip. But unique games, I played a little bit of to know if I could like it or not. I had the time to do that back then. I didn't have, my son as well wasn't here yet. So I would carefully curate. I would carefully scrape box art. So I have my Launchbox library. And let me just share what that is like.
Yeah, see, Launchbox is one I used a lot earlier back in the day because I used to do a lot of like the arcade stuff, like what I have behind me, where I'd love to set up the front ends and have like the videos playing and make it a really fun experience for someone who's hopping on an arcade machine and picking something out. I used to do that stuff a lot, more on the PC side. It just made sense for things like the arcades that I used to have and all that kind of stuff.
So I spent years making this Launchbox library, and I made sure all of it is what's the word? Where it's portable. So it's on an external drive. I can plug that drive into any Windows handheld, and I have this library ready to launch.
This looks awesome.
Like everything's connected.
I love Launchbox. It's so good.
It's so good. And our buddy ETA Prime works for them, so he helps make this or make content about it.
How did I not know that? That's good to know. Wow, I didn't know that he did that.
Yeah, one of Jay's like main gigs. But they have this cool system, and their scraper is so very fast. And I still need to like
clean looking. I love it.
It's so clean. Yeah, I like 3D box art myself. So with 3D box art, you can click on the game, and
it shows you the spine and everything. It's
the
really
spine, cool. And you can look at check this out. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So you can turn it around in 3 dimensions and actually look at the box art, read the back.
Oh wait, no, it's not showing it up for us.
Oh, you can't see that? Okay.
Oh yeah, probably.
Well, there you go.
You have because it's a pop-out window, right?
It's a pop-out. So you can pop it out.
Oh, that's cool.
But so you can actually, if you want to see this bigger, at least you can pull this over.
Oh, they've been cooking. I gotta load this up again.
Every single game has it. So you have the box art. You can flip it around like you have it in person.
That's
and
cool.
Look at the spine, at the sides.
I love that.
And the back, and you can zoom in if you want to read it better. And this is, and they have of course, the usual videos and information about the game. But I love Launchbox on the PC so much. I don't like it as much for Android. They have a little more work to do there, I think.
The PC one's much more mature. I mean, Launchbox has been around for a long time on PC. Yeah.
And they have ratings where thousands of people have rated. They also have retro achievements built right into it.
Oh, that's so cool.
So you can see what you've unlocked. I haven't even unlocked anything in Azure Dreams here. But this is how my whole library is. And for the most part, I need to fix some of the 3D boxes so they're more...
I love that they have the Genesis on the top, where you used to put it on the board, on the wall. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. That's really great. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
GameCube. I got to fix some of this box art. Genesis, NES. Anyways, even we have Pico 8. We have all the Pico 8 box art.
I love that.
Cart art and what have you. So I spent years on this, man, and I played all of these games, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of games. It took effort.
I could definitely tell it's curated. Even just looking at your PS2 library, I'm like, yeah, you clearly whittled out a lot of the stuff that you didn't want in there.
And so I whittled out what I knew that I wouldn't play in the end. Stuff that I was like, I might play this, but probably not. And so I only wanted games that I would be playing in the future. This is before I was a reviewer. And so I did not curate this based on what I wanted for review unit usage. So I have a separate library for that. But this is the one I actually end up, games that a lot of these, dude, are ones that I ended up buying now as part of my journey. And
there's some really good games in this list here.
It's cool because, I can go in here and 3D dimensionally spin, Tomb Raider around, or I can go in my physical library and go pick up the actual box. So it's this spoiled best of both worlds scenario that is ridiculous and crazy, but hey.
And I like it because it makes it just accessible. It does gaming accessible for everybody, because I mean, like, collecting and the prices of some of these games, it just gets ridiculous. And I wouldn't want a game to be gatekept, in terms of just like, price. I mean, some of these games are creeping up there. And if this is the only way to play them, it's like,
oh yeah. I'll say, Rob, I skipped out on buying the rare stuff, all the rare RPGs for PS, like all that stuff. I skipped pricing because
crazy.
I only pick stuff up if it's like sub $40. Like it has to be sub $10 for the most part for me. Even that adds up, but
because that was the whole point of it back in the days, that you would go and buy older games because they were cheaper, but then somewhere along the line it became so ridiculous. And
I did like some Japanese import titles here mixed in, because some of those games are really cool, and ones I discovered later in life, especially from Game of the Month. I learned a lot about from Rapid, our Game of the Month connoisseur, who taught us all about these games. Even have Switch in here, and I'm missing some box art there. Oh, that drives me crazy. My OCD is really triggered right now, man. I have not been tending to my library lately, but I know Javi wanted to talk about this, and so I decided it's insane to me to have a library of 3,000 games or something, or 5,000 games, even though my Steam library is just like that. So I whittled down each library to have 100 or less games. I was very strict on that number. I did not want more than 100 games per system. Now, since that, I've let some more games in, like Genesis is 212, NES is 295, but some of them are still like N64, 100 games. I was very like, let's see what are the best. And then I really got in the weeds of putting games up against each other. Like, all right, I can only have 100, and I got so neurotic about this for a good another 6 months till I had my finalized library. And then guess what? I became a reviewer, and I have no time, and I just toss games on SD cards.
Now you see why I end up with a 16 terabyte drive, just because I just toss on there.
And that's where I'm at these days, where it drives me nuts. I wish I had time to, recurate and go through and update. And I will some rainy day. Maybe I'll get a broken arm, hopefully not, but something where I'm going to have the time on a rainy day to make this nice again. And so that's how I curate games. And it's a little different. Some people would say, just give us 16,000 games, use the random.
Well, the thing is, I was going to say, storage is so cheap nowadays that's why, like, I take that mentality. I'm just like, whatever. I mean, it's so cheap that you could literally have a 16 terabyte drive and fill it to the brim if you wanted to,
Yeah, and so here's all my favorite games, everybody.
Nice.
If you want to
MS DOS, heck yeah.
I even went through Atari and DOS, finding like my favorites there.
Yeah.
Arcade, we got about 255, and then 3DS is one I kept at 100. That was an easy one for me. I just don't. I can't even find like 50 3DS games that I love. So it's a very limited library on 3DS for me. But
see, 3DS I have fond memories of, because that's when I kind of became a new dad.
Yes,
my daughter was born in 2011, so the 3DS for me was a way for me to still get gaming in, because it was portable. So I definitely got a lot of experience with the 3DS library. So I had a lot of fun with that one. 3DS is good stuff. It's got a lot of gems too.
I would say in the end, I might land in the camp of you, Rob, where I'm just going to get, again, all the games, and then making use of these awesome randomizers you see in so many front ends and OS options, where it just picks a game for you, and then bam, you're playing. Or as a reviewer, making sure when people have requests on live streams, you then have that game for that request. So
yeah,
let us all know, everybody, how do you curate your game libraries on your handhelds? Do you maybe put on just one or two games, like 2 or 3 games, ones that you'll play, and they're just your games that you play on every system? Or do you have every game ever, somewhere in between? I really want to know. This is a super intriguing and interesting topic for me. I know I tell you, when I was talking to Javi, though, on voice last week, in our voice chat, that he was talking about he had like 3 to 5 games, maybe 10 games per system.
Wow, impressive.
And all he would do on his handhelds, he would just put on a couple games that mean a lot to him and that he would play. I know Russ is the same. Russ, I think, limits to like 25 games per system.
Yeah, I usually don't go crazy. When it comes to my handhelds, I don't go over like
you don't go
a certain amount either, no. Because I feel like there's choice paralysis there. That's the thing. And then you don't know what you want to play anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So, no, I keep my handhelds pretty slim. I keep them pretty
that's
light.
Good to know.
Yeah. Like I have a 1 terabyte like micro SD card that I move between different Android devices, but that's more just for speed, you know, so that this way I can help people and test things and whatnot. But like personally, like I like to keep those libraries small in my handhelds, so I'll have a handful of games that I'm actually playing, you know.
Yeah, and that leads us to like maximalism versus minimalism in this stuff. Like I traditionally have attempted to be a minimalist, but it's really tough in this hobby because we all get each other stoked on all these handhelds, right? We're like, oh, you see this stupid thing on AliExpress?
Well, there's some fun stuff out there. Yeah, there's some fun stuff. That's why. Like,
your favorite handheld, the O30S, turns out to be one of my favorite hidden gems of cheap handhelds. It's not cheap anymore. Don't buy this now. But
I hate that thing.
I know. And because it's like, maybe it's going to be good. And so you have all these handhelds. And as a reviewer, you know, you can say, hey, I might need that for a comparison. But as someone who actually wants to whittle down their devices, I really want to whittle down to, you know, under 10 devices. It's going to take a lot of soul searching. And now with the tariff stuff, I don't know if I'm going to be doing that anytime soon, because it's not, if I made a mistake, it's not easy to come back from that.
I'm really curious to see how things are going to go from here now, because we're starting to see it. And I think once May 2nd hits, that's it. I'm like, or what's going to happen? You know, or they don't, or they renew it. They renew the exception. Yeah.
The exception. I feel like that's going to happen. I feel like last minute, there's going to be some deal made, and all this worrying maybe was for nothing, and things will stabilize out. I can hope for that. Or we might be looking at a long-term, just uncomfortable struggle in the market where it's going to be like this. And so get used to it, settle in. And everyone, when I post about this, a lot of commenters across our socials and stuff will say like, well, it's your fault. You know, it's your government's fault. It's your fault for voting. And it's like, well, you know, we have no control over that beyond a vote. And U.S. consumers are in a tough spot right now. And we just need to weather the storm and focus more on playing games versus buying new handhelds. Focus more on, you know, getting first-party consoles or just things you can get locally or get around inside the country. And so
I was going to say also, you know, I mean, we now can maybe just feel a little bit of what some of the rest of the world feels in terms of tariffs and things like that. I mean, I know Brazil gets taxed like crazy on stuff that comes into the country. So, I mean, this is not an unusual thing from around the world. A lot of countries have this issue. So, you know, we're starting to feel a little bit of that and understand what else goes on around the world. You know, I think sometimes us Americans, we kind of like in our own little world here, and we don't realize that, you know, this is not that unusual for other places, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like Brazil, other countries, like they're used to this, and like they adapted and they're saying, you guys will adapt too. Like it's not a crazy thing. You're all being maybe too dramatic about it. And it is different for us. Like we are used to.
We're a little spoiled. Yeah, we're definitely spoiled. Oh yeah, for sure. And we used to point and laugh at the, you know, at the Europeans and the Brits and whatever, and we'd say, haha, you know, we don't.
You got to deal with this.
Taxes coming in for our packages for DHL. No, we don't do any of that stuff. Well, now we do.
Yeah, exactly. Now we do. Now we're joining that party, and
the pain of it. Oh yeah.
It's gonna make though our reviews all the more precious though, because it's really more than ever now. It's gonna be like, okay, if you want to buy this, it will cost you hundreds of dollars. Really, why would you want to buy this? And we really need to be more just stringent. It's not going to be this sort of like, well, it's an impulse buy. Now there are no impulse buys.
I think
impulse buys.
That's probably one of the positives I'd say comes out of this, at least if you're in the US, is that, you know, you'll be a little more selective instead of just buying everything that gets thrown up on AliExpress. You really think about like, do I need this? Do I not need this? Is it worth the money? You know, it's going to change the purchasing mentality, I think, of a lot of people, you know, so maybe for the better, you know, maybe that's a good thing. Yeah. Yeah.
And with that, I think everybody, it's just going to be me and Rob on this one. So we just got a dude, bro.
Just join us for a kind of a chill Saturday morning discussion instead of Saturday morning cartoons. This is what you get.
Yeah, this is maybe a new series, Saturday morning chill zone with Rob and Stubbs. Like, let's go.
The R zone. Let's go to the R zone.
The R zone. I have the R zone.
I know you do. Whatever R zone means to you, if it's the Toys R Us R zone, or if it's the wonderful Tiger R zone, or the RH zone.
It's so good. Yeah. Well, everybody, this will probably come out after our Monday podcast. So I hope our Monday podcast was good in this little time capsule. I hope nothing untoward happened. I hope nothing crazy happened. I hope it was all good and above board. And we have some unboxings I know I have planned, multiple. I have so many last minute things that came in that we could take a look at together. The DM handheld.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever that is.
Damn, boy.
The R36XX is one.
Oh.
Whatever it is.
I think the Ace embargo will be up then too.
Yes,
so we'll go backwards in time.
Yeah, I could talk about the Ace as well. I have a video ready to go for that. It needs a little more editing now, and I'll probably add in a little spiel.
I'm curious to see what the pricing is going to be on that guy.
It's the pricing's right. Yeah, we'll see. You know, basically, the Ace, if you're wondering about it, is a 3:2 aspect ratio. So it's a Game Boy Advance, premium Game Boy Advance experience, like they tried to give us for the DMG, that experience, plus the Pocket Micro, that other DMG or Game Boy Advance experience. It's another one in those lineups, and it's going to be going up against the GKD Little that's coming out. It's going to be going up against the Powkiddy RGB50, all 3:2 aspect ratio, which they call the golden ratio because it scales well with
lots of things. Yeah.
Lots of things. 16:9 scales well, 4:3 scales pretty well. Not OLED though, but still looks damn crisp. Well, once again, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to stay in the know for all of your favorite retro handhelds. And a special thanks once again to our channel members, our patrons, and our subs who make everything here possible for us. Perks with RH start for as little as $3 per month. Join us in our Discord to chat and play games, and join us on the next episode of the podcast where something crazy will happen, and it'll be a lot of fun. Lots of information. Check out, of course, Mr. Rob, the Retro Tech Dad's channel. He has a new review up, which is a lot of fun for that Ultra. And also you have that Red Magic, right?
Red Magic 10 Air, yep, that just came out. Yep.
The 10, check that out in your tablet as well. At Retro Tech Dad. Javi couldn't make me in. We hope to have him in the future, but we'll rep him anyways. Check out Javi's channel at... I think
Javi Play Retro, I believe.
Play Retro, at Javi Play Retro. Well, until the next one, everybody, this has been Stubbs on behalf of Rob saying, take care of those handhelds and each other. Goodbye. Yeah. Get in the flip zone. Flippity flop flop.